I'm technologically challenged, so what do? I do that and goes, okay, all right, cool. Oh, okay, cool. Hi, everyone. I'll use the microphone if you can't hear me, but I think you can hear me. So I figured I'd tell you about a trip because there was nothing planned this, right? So there you go. One thing, the people that know me here or have hiked with me, I will always say to them, what has been your favorite trip ever or place you went that you would actually go back to? So I was on a trip way back in 24 in Tanzania doing Kilimanjaro. And so the group was a perfect group to ask that question, right? Because I mean, they were from all over the place. So I asked a gentleman that seemed to be a good hiker, and he had a family. I said, you know, where has been your favorite place? He was from California, and he had just gotten back with his family from hiking New Zealand. And he said, I would go to Havasupai. And I'm like, oh, I don't know where that is. I had never heard of it. And it's in Arizona, next to the Grand Canyon. Like, you're kidding me. It's right here in the world. This is where you would go back to. And he said, yes. So I said, wow, okay, how does that work? It's a indigenous people's reservation. And so they control it appropriately. And so it's by permit only. So the permits open in end of January, and then the beginning of February for that year. And I think you can hike until November into the property. So he said, wow, it's really awesome. So on February 1st, I logged on to the website and figured out some dates, which happened to be October 18th. I called a friend who's a much better backpacker than me. And she said, yeah, you know, I'll go with you. So I snagged those dates, and also I was turning 65, and retiring. So that worked out. So I'm a terrible planner. The only thing I booked right away was getting the permits, and then the night before, the hotel. Because even though I car camp, somebody mentioned car camping. My idea of car camping is sleeping in my car. I sleep in my car, and I have a cross trek. Yeah, in the car. That's car camping to me. So that was my prep. I was lucky because, again, I don't plan things, and I would have really been screwed, but the government shutdown happened while I was on this trip. So this is the sign that you would see, that I saw every national park, and the gate is open. Otherwise, I guess there's timed entrances now for all kinds of parks. It's timed, and you have to make a reservation. So lucky me, I had already had the senior citizen pass. Yeah, America the Beautiful. So I would have already gotten in, but the beauty was the gates were up. So so for my cross trek, I have a little sleeping mat. I had a plug-in cooler. I bought this, I put a hitch on my Subaru and had this, I would never do it again, a soft bag thing that you ratcheted on every time and unzipped it every time you got in. It became filthy. But so to prep for that, I had to buy that because I was going to sleep in my car for maybe 2 months. And there's a lot of stuff in there that you have to move around. So my friend lives in Kalamazoo. I took her, she was flying there. So my only time thing I had to be in charge of is to be picking her up at the airport on October 17th, day before our trip. Other than that, I made no reservations, no plans. So, but I did, she didn't want to fly with her backpack, so I put it in that thing behind my car. And that's what I did. So I looked at a map and I just was like, yeah, I've heard of Badlands. So I think I'll just go west. And that's what I did. So this was kind of the first leg, 16 hours. Yeah, right. I basically would drive, for this portion, I drove it in 2 days. But other than that, I don't want to do, like whole 8 hours in the car. So I made it to the Badlands. I slept in, I use an app called iOverlander. It used to be free, but I think now you have to pay for it. It's excellent. But I think I just slept in a Walmart parking lot. That's a thing. So halfway through, I stopped, slept, got up, and made it to Badlands, which was really super cool. Yeah, beautiful. Hiked around there. It was a really cool staircase inside the park. So the other good thing about the parks being open was you could sleep in the park if you were stealth. Just find a place, and I have my Subaru's small. I don't put anything on the outside of it, and so I slept in the national park there. Then I went to because it's just around the corner, and even though it's I don't know, I just figured Mount Rushmore, why not? I've never seen it. But on the way, it was, I could see some wildlife and then these, cool rock formations that just go right from the earth. And so you just drive around through them. Flat, nice and flat driving. I just couldn't, this was probably my favorite sign besides National Park is open, drive right in with no fee. I mean, so, right? It's carved. Hello. I mean, with for not even that great of people necessarily. And so, yeah, vandalism degrades natural beauty, can I say? But there's a really nice, there's some nice trails at the bottom of it, bottom of there. So I just made a stop for the day and then I kept going. And I really enjoyed things like this. Midwest, which I think of us as the Midwest, right? I mean, Black Hills, this is way over west, but it said largest bicycle sculpture and possibly the world. Yeah. Did they charge for that? No, it just was like, I just was driving down the road and, because it was so fun. So that's, has anyone been to the Black Hills? Oh man, it was like amazing. I loved it. So then I did a lot of hiking in the area, and this is how beautiful, all the poplar trees were changing colors and all that. And I loved finding out about these people who would, hang out in the hills and do their prospecting and that kind of thing. I kick around some rocks from time to time, hoping I would find something, but I never did. So then I went to Wind Cave National Park and went on a tour. Traveling alone, you're never alone. You're alone if you want to be, but otherwise you're not alone. Because when you're alone, people will, approach you because, if you were with a group of people, it's hard to approach. And when you're alone, you approach other people because you need to know information or you just want to talk to another human. So getting ready for this Wind Cave, there was outdoors, there was a bench. And so I went up to the bench and there was a spot next to a gentleman. I said, do you mind if I, can I sit down here? And he goes, honey, he looks around at the other people. He goes, 25 years of marriage and she's still late. And I was like, okay, I can do that. So then we were a married couple for the next like 2 hours of the cave thing. I'm like, just went with his thing, making believe we were a married couple. Why not? Actually, he was a really fun person. I stayed in touch with him. He lives in Atlanta. His name is Chris. And yeah, so anyway, you never know what you're going to do. Fine. So there were, that was the wildlife, was these goats along the side. And in the Black Hills, that's where Dances with Wolves was filmed, right? So I thought that was a fun sign. It was so beautiful. So there I used iOverlander and found a parking lot outside of the national forest, but there were other campers there, so it was safe.
To stay the night.
Yeah, to stay the night. I think I stayed, like 2 nights there. So Wind Cave is down there, and then yes, Devil's Tower. I mean, I had to go there, and it's so close. It was just 2 hours. So Close Encounters, just had to see it. Yeah, that was right there with Black Hills, and that I wanted to see Devil's Tower. So driving up to it, so cool, isn't it? So for miles you see that. It was a really great day. So that was my drive there. On the left-hand side, that's a trail that you can hike up to. There's a bar, restaurant, kind of town campground on the bottom there. So on the left-hand side, that's the trail. It's pretty far and challenging. On the right-hand side, there's a path all around, a really nice hiking path all the way around the tower. It's just beautiful. And this is where, so people climb there. And you can, with permits, they have a little stand there and you check in and everything. So it's legit. And that's the side where they start because it's got that little lip. So I had a beautiful day hiking around there, and because I think it's a monument, but still it's government thing. I got to sleep at the base of it in my car. So it was gorgeous, beautiful sunset. And that's my setup on this terrible soft, don't get one, called Mokins.
What is it?
Mokins. I put my gear like my backpack that was for Habasupai in the back of my car, in that bag.
The trailer.
Yeah, the trailer.
So Mokins is the name of the trailer?
Yeah, the name of the bag thing.
Oh, the duffel bag. In a hard side.
Yeah, I didn't know. So, but it's all ratcheted down, and anyway. So it was cool. I got it's dark sky there. So I got out at night to look at the stars, and I was like, what the heck? There's a light up on top of the tower. Wow, that's kind of weird. Is that for airplanes? You know how you have a light on the... Wow, that's just kind of not... And then I look and I see more lights. I'm like, I'll be damned, people are climbing it at night. Yeah, because it was hot. So the sun is setting on this side and it's hot. So apparently they do it at night. But I heard that there's cactus on the top, and I don't know, but people were climbing it, and I just could not believe. I was so happy that I was sitting and, I could see it from my car. That's super cool.
Okay, I'm sorry, this is inside a national park that's
Yes.
during the strike.
Yes.
This one, not the shutdown.
Yeah, the
So-
shutdown, yeah.
If it was not the shutdown, I wonder if there'd be more park rangers there.
Oh, yeah.
Arresting them.
Well, yeah, you just wouldn't be able to do it at all. Like, it wouldn't even be an option.
It would close it down.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an
I'm sure-
option.
Yeah, it's probably a federal
Yeah, yeah.
law. To
But,
not climb
you
those
know,
things.
and again, so, and my car is pretty unassuming. My windows are, they're too blacked out. They're really blacked out. So no, you can't really see inside. So anyway, that was fun. So I guess there's brush up there and cactus and not flat, cratery rocks. So I don't know what the climbers were doing, but I have to say, even though there weren't rangers around, there was the booth. So that was good. There was a booth that people had to check in to be safe, to do their climbs. So then, where did I go next? Oh yeah, well, of course I had to go to Yellowstone. So that's where I went next. I can't, I didn't keep a track of all my nights. I think I might have driven straight through because I was really anxious to get there. I mean, I've never been. Has everyone been? Oh, cool. Well, it was great. I loved it.
How about the roads? I mean, they had such a terrible, yeah.
Oh.
winter, and the roads
Oh,
washed away.
yeah. Well, I started this trip on September 30th. Yeah. So I just couldn't help myself on the right-hand side. I love to take pictures that are not normal. Everywhere was the bison are wild. Please don't go by them. And it was just
They look like 10 feet away.
oh, they are. The lady's standing right next to it so she could get a picture. I saw that the whole trip. It was so funny. Yeah, and I mean, they're roaming, so I was like on a different trail. I'm keeping a tree between me and those. And they have boardwalks all through there, and then there's geysers everywhere. There's just so many geysers, not just Old Faithful. Yellowstone. Yeah. I'm really technologically challenged, so a friend helped me do this just yesterday, put this together, and you have way too many pictures. So I don't have that many pictures. Now I'm wishing I had more, but you can see them sometime if you want. So yeah, the mist is on the boardwalk, but there's a lot of walks, and then there's a beautiful hotel right there where Old Faithful, right? Faithful, not Faithful, is. But there's some really cool images because it's all the mineral deposits that make these cool things. And
Do you
obviously,
recommend this time of year?
absolutely. Would never do it in the summer for two reasons: weather and people. There already was a lot of people, but definitely the fall. It was amazing weather. So my thing that I do with my car is I hang out in these beautiful lobbies. That little thing that says streaming is in the way, but there was a fireplace as big as a screen. It was fabulous. So I got a book and I got a beer and I hung out in this cool old lodge till I wanted to go to sleep in my car because the rooms are $450 easy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, the lodges in the national. So the lodges were open, and there were ranger. It depended on the national park, but there were more rangers here than I had seen, and some of them were working without pay. I talked to some of them, but so that was my dealio. I would just hike, eat, get tired. If there was a lodge, I'd hang out in the lobby and then crawl in my car. In this case, so I just slept in the parking lot of the lodge. There was a lot of cars there. In the morning, there was snow all over the place. But my car, I have this great sleeping pad and a great sleeping bag, and I didn't even know it. So Yellowstone, then I went down to Arches National Park. So I went right past where we were talking about Tetons, thank you. Yeah, it was snowing like crazy, and I don't know, I was just a little intimidated on the road. The Tetons were really quite a ways more west, and I didn't really have much information. And then I did have to start ticking off the days, like, okay, whatever I'm doing, I have to pick up my friend on the 17th for sure from the airport. So that was my, so I went through Salt Lake City. I went through Provo, which was pretty swank. The other thing I did did stay in motels once in a while, but I got a subscription from Planet Fitness. So do you know? So it's $25 a month-ish for the Black Card plan, and you can take a shower anywhere.
You can do that for $10 a
I was
month.
gonna say.
10 or 15 now.
Where? With what?
You don't need the black
Oh, you don't?
card to get the shower usage.
Oh.
It wouldn't be able to monitor it anyway. 'Cause
Okay, thank
But
you.
you did give them the massage chair.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I had a picture, shoot, I cut out a lot of pictures on this, but I had one of the best Planet Fitness I've ever seen in my life, because it was in Provo and the mountains were right behind it. It was just, and it was just another ironic thing, like, let's see, the mountains are there. Let's go get on a stair climber inside, right? Like, what?
Pretend you're climbing.
But yeah, but I stopped and I had a really good meal in Provo and chatted with some people. Yeah, so then on to Arches National Park. I think I was there on October 8th, and it was a super moon. So this is the moon. And legit, the campground was open inside of the national park. It said, you know, like when you get in, there was signs. The gate was open, but the sign said camping ground full. But you know, you always try. You never know if somebody didn't show up or something. So I drove it's at the total end of the road, but it gave me a chance to see the whole park. So I got there, tried to talk my way into a spot, but there weren't any. But I drove past the panoramic view parking lot, which was the top right one. And I was like, yeah, panoramic view. I think that I'm going to park there. There was a really nice bathroom, and it was safe, and it was open. I saw there was a professional photographer with a really sweet Mercedes van. He was there. And then I met a gal, again, when you're talking, I met a gal, we're chatting. She's an influencer, so she was taking all these pictures. And she asked where I was from. Oh, Michigan. Oh, you know, where are you from? She said, oh, I'm from Michigan. I'm like, really? So it turns out she was from my grandmother's tiny town, village south of Grand Rapids. I couldn't believe it. She goes, well, you won't know where I'm from. I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway, it was just magical to be there. So that was the moonrise. There's a really awesome, I think this picture got cut off. There's a really, so then the thing to do, and there's beautiful trails in Arches. There's one called the Fiery Furnace, and you have to register for it. And yeah, right. So I did go to the visitor center, and it was closed. I was going to buy a permit or register or try to get on, you know, the legit way. Here it says, no permit, hiking in Fire Furnace without a permit is against the law, punishable by up to $500 and like 2 months in jail. So that's the beginning of the trailhead. So I did try to get a permit, all right, and then it was closed. So I just assumed, okay, just like everything else, it must be. So I just got my, you know, water and my little day pack and started hiking. And then I did notice some other people, they had like colorful tags on their backpack. and I said, so so tell me about your tag. They were like, well, you picked it up at the orientation, right? I was like, oh yeah, I was late for the orientation, so I forgot to pick it up. So then I realized, if there was a ranger, so then I did keep my eyes out. But there's all these rocks that you can hide behind and stuff. So I did the whole time. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna bing down, get small. I'm not afraid of bugs or spiders or anything like that. So, but on the left, like that, there's you could squeeze through the trail. Actually goes through those rocks. You squeeze through it. So fun. And there were I think this one's called Delicate Arch. There's one on the left that was Skeleton Arch because it looks like a skeleton. Yeah, so all those are rock scrambleable. And then on the left, that was another hike. That picture got cut off, but it said, like take water. I mean, be careful. Yeah, and then the road leading out was on the right. Yeah. Yep. There were a lot of those kind of roads. There's no guardrails, both ways. So if you're on the inside, yay. If you're on the outside, I'm telling you, I've never been more scared in my life. Really, seriously. And I'm pretty not scarable usually. So that was that. So then I went to Capitol Reef, and they have, isn't that cool? These petroglyphs from the Fremont culture, which I guess was from 300 to 1300. And so but there was a ranger there, and she was giving a talk. That was pretty cool. But you could get pretty close to them. I just, this was Utah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, they're really, big like this. Yeah, people size. And then, so it was interesting because the ranger was saying, well, what do you think this means? Not like, how do you interpret it like a language, but if you see something, what does that mean about the culture? And people had great ideas. They said, well, they had free time on their hands to, it wasn't just toil all the time. They were able to make art, which is kind of cool, or they wanted to leave something behind maybe. So then I just have a couple pictures of the roads that I was driving through and hikes. I did hike up to, that was called the Golden Throne. I almost put a picture of the White House throne, but I didn't. Sorry, you guys, I can't help myself. So, but that was a great hike up to that. And again, meeting all kinds of people along the way. Yeah. This was Escalante. And on the left-hand side, that was a parking spot. I just pulled over and parked along the road. That's just a road. Yeah. So it's hard to drive by yourself, though, because you want to look around.
Yeah, I'll say.
It's good and bad, though, because some of the roads are so scary. There is no way in hell that I would be a passenger. I just wouldn't trust somebody. I seriously, I'm a control person, I guess.
Do they have warning signs?
No.
You could get stuck.
Yeah. So these were some more cool, like little slot canyon-y places. Lower Calf Creek Trail. So this trail, I think it was about 6 miles round trip, and it said 3 to 4 hours. So the destination was this waterfall in the middle. Oh yeah, so then rock falls everywhere, and then sometimes it was sandy. the ones on the left, the one on the far left is the beginning of the hike, and you see there's no clouds. But when I got there, there was lightning. There was a hella storm coming, and it scared me so bad. And people were, we were hiking back, and people are just like chatting, and I'm like booking it, It was, I take that kind of thing serious, when you hear thunder, I just want to get out of there. Where are you going to go? You're the height. Sometimes I was the tallest thing around, I'm only 5'5". So then had to go, to Bryce. Has everyone been to Bryce? So awesome. So easy. So that was my area that I went. Just Bryce stuff. The trails that you can go right down in there. So nice. Yeah, and the weather was, but here again, up on the left, there was a really cool storm coming in. There were a couple trails that I didn't do because of that. I did get a campsite here. Just at the last minute, I got a 2-night campsite, decided, hey, I want to be right in the park. There were more rangers here, even though the sign was up there, because, people they need safety. Some people get way too close to the edge and things. But it was really good weather. Up on the right side, I took that path all the way down and through the hoodoos. And there were all these arches, which I thought was, and then down on the bottom on the left is the rainbow. Yeah. So that was cool. So it happened to be on my birthday. So on that trail on the left, I was hiking and talking to someone, and this gentleman overheard me and started talking to me. And he was from Australia, and he's a meteorologist. So we're walking and talking, and I asked who he was with, and he was with a group of friends. And he said, but I'm a pretty fast walker, but he said they're really fast, and they've probably been finished for hours. And they're waiting for me. And I was like, dude, probably I'd be kind of pissed. He said, yeah, I have all the money. I was like, they couldn't eat. They didn't. So then he said, I'm not kidding. I go, well, that's, wow. So when we got up to the top, and his friends were there, and they did look not unhappy. They looked unhappy. And so what I did is kind of the opposite of the guy at the wind caves. Because he had the car keys, and they couldn't even get in the car.
Oh gosh.
So I go up to his friends. I go, you guys, oh my God. So I don't know how we got on the subject, but he was asthmatic. I go, you guys, your friend Toby saved my life. I was down on the bottom and I was having an asthma attack, and I forgot my inhaler, and Toby saved me with his inhaler. And he just insisted in hiking the rest of the way with me, and I'm not very fast. And they were like, okay, that's cool. So he's all happy. He's like, where did that come from? I didn't even tell him that I was going to do it. And then actually the one on the right is, I think it's a picture from my next destination. And the gal, I'm on the left there, third from the left. And the gal, it was her birthday. So we started, they're from Brazil. So I collect people from all over. And where that was Zion. So Zion, whoa, what a zoo. You stay in, the entrance is Springfield, right outside of the park. And now there's a bus. I went there like way long time, 20 years ago or so. And, so you get around with a bus because you can't just drive around. It's too crowded. So you stay in Springfield. I think I stayed one night in Springfield in a hotel parking lot. And then I snagged a couple nights in the campground inside here. So way on the left is Angel's Landing. right? Where it's the one that's kind of, the peak is totally to the left. And you can kind of see the path. And if I could zoom in, you'd see teeny tiny people on there. So I had field glasses, and I just, well, again, there weren't that many rangers at all in Zion. But they did have somebody at the base of Angel's Landing, and so you know, they have your permits. You had to have your permit. So, but there's a trail on the opposite side that is just amazing, and it's higher than Angel's Landing, and it's safer. So that's what it is. So I took that.
Wait, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, the one in the middle, the one in the middle it's wide. There's two people, like you can see two people, because Angel's Landing, you're holding on to that chain. And through my field glasses, those people were terrified, just terrified. It was unbelievable.
Is there a name of that rock in the middle?
Is there what?
Is there a name?
Oh gosh. What? Okay. Oh, no, it's not Walter's Wiggles. I forgot. Yeah, that's part of Angel's Landing. But it's opposite Angel's Landing. And then on the right, the reason I have that is a helicopter light picking up somebody who fell off Angel's Landing.
Oh,
Yeah. While we were there. Yeah. So, okay, then the next place I went was, I was running out of time. So Valley of Fire State Park is 1 hour north of Las Vegas. So that was my next place to stay before I picked up my friend. Beautiful place. Rock, you could just go on all the trails and climb around on the rocks and everything. Great day, some cool stuff there. So then I picked up my friend from the airport. We slept at the hotel, and this is the beginning of the trip. I thought that's, you know what? I thought I had some slides. Wait. Yeah, okay. I'll back up. So explaining the process, the permit purchase, it's $455. You have 3 nights in the canyon. The lodge, you can book a room there, I guess, for 4 people for $2,277. There is a helicopter pad. A helicopter goes in. One way is $300. You can't pre-book because the tribal members are first, because that's their home. So you can't book something in advance. The pack mule is, you can have someone take your bags, $400. Each bag is 35 pounds and you can only have 4. Where we stayed was Grand Canyon Caverns. It's reasonably priced. It's about an hour and 15 minutes. It's from the trailhead where you park. So you check in there the night before or the day or the morning of to check in and get your wristband and show them your license, and so they mark down that you're going. There's limited parking on the lot at the top. And if you have to park near the road farther down before the entrance, there's rock falls. And they're not responsible for your car. It's safe. Like no one was breaking into anything, but the farther you park down the road, then you also had to park close. So actually, I asked my friend if she minded. I said, I want to get a pack mule. I don't need an award for carrying my backpack at least 12 miles to the campground or more. I just wanted to have fun, and it's my birthday. So, she readily agreed. Okay, fine. Really. So, so these are the mileage. So it's 8 miles to a village where they have a store there. And there's a cafe. You can get food. There's no alcohol in the whole village. So then it's another 2 miles. Oh, so yeah, so the village is 2 miles. Then, 10 miles, I'm sorry, to the village. Another 2 miles to the campground, but there's not really a campground. There's just spaces that you can find along the river. There's no campsites. You just put your tent where it would be appropriate, not by the toilets though, because they smelled really bad. And then there's these Mooney Falls, which is the scary, I'll show you a picture, scary descent down a ladder. Beaver Falls, which is farther on, and then you can hike to the confluence of the Colorado River. It is a 16 miles round trip and just so hard, but I guess it's stunning. So I'm gonna go back, right? Like, okay. So that kind of shows the map, trailhead. Then you get to the village. There's all these beautiful falls. Campground, again, it's along the river. It's everywhere. Mooney Falls, which is scary. And then there's a Beaver Falls, and then all the way to the confluence. So let's see. So the first falls you get to is the middle one when you're hiking down this trail that is all dirt, and it was getting pretty hot. But that's one of the first scenes that you see in the middle. And then you cross over a river, and then this is the bottom of the falls, and you can swim in it, and it's great. Let's see. So there's a lot of lime in the water, and so that's why it's blue. Yeah. Let's see. Oops. Okay, so then, yeah, you have to cross a little bridge and cross the river and then keep going to the village. So then we snagged a little spot next to the river on the bottom right, looking up the trail where we had come down. Those are campsites. They're not marked. You just put your tent wherever you can. So that's looking from our little cove. And then, so what you do is you snag a place. So our bags had been taken down by the mule, and they're just sitting in a heap, but you want to get a good spot. So we ran, found our spot, somehow marked it, and then I saw a wheelbarrow. I was like, oh, heck yeah, because we were tired, more than a 12-mile hike down. And so I snagged that wheelbarrow. It was great. Yeah. So that's, so we were there 3 nights. Oh yeah, that's a view, again, up the river from our little camp spot. So then you go to Mooney Falls, which is a sheer drop. You go through a hole. My friend up in the middle, she's going through the hole. Now on the left, she's checking it out. She's an amazing backpacker, but she has a fear of heights and she couldn't do it. She just couldn't go down. And so I respected that, can't make somebody. But so on the bottom in the middle that's what you do. You hold on to these chains and it's just sheer drop. So you have to wear gloves because the chain is slippery and it might be muddy. So you're supposed to, and then, yeah, my friend, she's wearing my gloves there on the left. You're not supposed to leave pack in, pack out, but there's this huge pile of gloves there, just a huge pile, like this big. I should have taken a picture. So that's what that is. Now, when you get down there, this is what you encounter. That's the trail on the bottom right. It's so amazing. And then, yeah, this is what the ladder. I mean, this isn't federal land. This is just, it's a reservation. They're going to put up what they want to put up, So it was just a work ladder down a really scary, that was all muddy. And then, so that's what the canyon looks like. And then you do cross, when you're going from Mooney Falls, the big drop, and I was going toward the confluence. I wasn't going to go the whole way. So you cross the river multiple times. So you wear, I had sandals, and then I didn't want to get blisters. So I would change into my hiking shoes and then cross the river again. But it would get, like waist deep-ish at the most. Yeah. Okay, this is the Scary Falls, Mooney Falls. Up on the right, you see the green that doesn't match the trees? That's a tent. Up there, like the green, the funny green spot, up on the right, on the top of the rock is a tent. I don't understand. I mean, I really don't, because there was no lights at night. And then on the left, there's people, and that's not a trail up there. I mean, I do a lot of daring things, but that was like, no way. That was crazy. Let's see. So then that's on our way back out. Super happy to have our pack mules. And yeah, that was the view from coming. So it's pretty rocky, and it's hard. It took us 3 hours to go down and about 6.5 to climb back up. Yeah. Pardon? Yeah, day pack. Lots of water. Yeah. So then, so I dropped off my friend at the airport. Again, I didn't have an itinerary. I just knew I had to be home for Thanksgiving because I'm in the parade every year, which, by the way, is going to be 100 years this year. We're as big as Macy's. Go to the Detroit parade, the Detroit Thanksgiving Day parade. So that was I was okay. So I dropped her off on the 19th of October. So I had like another whole month. I won't bore you through but I looked on the map. I go, hey, I'm by Death Valley. I'm only 2 hours away. What the heck? So I drove, and it was beautiful. This was the highest spot on the right-hand side. There was a breeze. And then I decided, okay, I really want to see those salt flats, that are so famous. So I drove down there. It was so hot. It was unbelievably hot. I still would have liked to, but they closed the road because there had been a lot of flooding last fall. So they closed the road, and there was a really pretty inn. So part of, sleeping in your car, you can splash out if you want on something really nice. Heck, I'd saved a couple $1,000s on not staying in hotels. So well, that looked really nice. I thought, well, that would be nice. But then I figured, well, I'd just be inside the whole time because it was so hot. It was so hot down there in the valley. Yeah, really hot. So who's been to Joshua Tree? Nobody? It is amazing. I thought of Joshua Tree of the trees, like in the middle. I've always considered that. But actually, there's tons of cool rock scrambling. Just amazing. The coolest things. It was, so you had to get, I snagged a campsite there. They did, you didn't have to pay to get into the park, but I found it was, you found your campsite, and then you would mark it like a dog and then go back to like the beginning where you drive in and tell them and pay money. So it's kind of, it was first come, first serve, no reservations. But I guess the last shutdown, I can't remember when that was, 2017, there was a shutdown, national parks. Pardon?
Same president.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was lucky I was in Hawaii and I got to go up to Haleakala because they had the gate open. Anyway, so during the last shutdown in Joshua Tree, I guess they had a lot of problems. Vandals came in and cut down trees and all that. That was really awful. But I didn't see anything like that. Yeah.
I think they take their roots out and sell them for like
Really?
25 to 50 to $75,000.
Wow.
Maybe way more. Maybe way more.
Well, they're pretty prickly. I hope they got prickled. Yeah. Yeah. So, but that was a pass. There was just, I highly recommend it. And I just found these faces in the rocks, right? I thought that kind of looked like the president on the left with that chin. Yeah, it's kind of cool, but just rock scrambling everywhere. Oh, I wanted so okay, then Sequoia. I decided, all right, I'll drive north and hit up Sequoia. So I that was my camp. I just parked there. That was pretty open. Hiked around. I met this gentleman. He was from California, and we just started chatting, and he showed me a cool trail. Actually, I met him the next day because I think I had dinner in the fancy lodge, and he was eating dinner. I thought, hey, how you doing? And then he said, hey, I'm going to go on this hike. So he showed me this hike I never would have known about, Little Baldy, it's called. So that was really cool. Then he also told me about Kings Canyon. Has anyone been there? Right? It was amazing. It was absolutely, I'd have to say Sequoia, Kings Canyon, Joshua Tree were pretty much my favorites. So then on the right-hand side, I took a picture from, I guess it was John Muir used to sit there, and that was his swimming hole, and he would sit and think about things, supposedly. But then on the left is a big, you could hike along a really cool river. And I would pass people and they'd say, did you see the bears? And that freaked me out because I'm scared of them. So then, I don't know, I asked, so, did they run? Do they have cubs? Oh, don't worry. They're California bears. They're chill. They're black bears. They're chill. Like, really, they said that. It's like, okay, I still don't believe that. Okay, then I had, it's like right there. So I went to Yosemite. Who's been to Curry Campground? Right? So now Curry Campground is there's tents. They're like army tents, and there's a cot and a floor, and they're like what, $150 a night at least. You can turn on a light, and they actually have blankets. So I snagged 3 nights because I thought, oh yeah, and I had been to Yosemite before. It was so crowded and insane there. It just was, and for a reason, it's beautiful. But Kings Canyon, Joshua Tree, Sequoia, way, 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 way better experience, in my opinion. Just heading. So then my thing, even though I was in this Curry campground, it was just crawling with little kids too that were screaming their heads off. I went to the Awahini. It's a really old lodge, and that's where you can sit. Look at that. So isn't that cool view for free? Or I think I just, got a book and drank a beer. Yep, that was nice. So then the Rachel is like total nowhere where the UFOs go. Yeah, it was just, and so I pulled off by that restaurant bar motel, which really wasn't one. I didn't even go in there to eat. It was so scary. And I just parked my car in the desert-ish. I was kind of freaked out though.
The Area 51.
Yeah, that's what it is. So then I went to Vermilion Cliffs National Park, another place where they had the petroglyphs, which is cool. Anyone been there? It's, again, head over heels over Zion or Yosemite is Vermilion Cliffs. Just, yeah. Wait, Vermilion Cliffs. Where is it? Okay. Arizona. Thank you. So there's a cool, look at that wire canyon. I went on a hike found somebody to hike with and went through there. That was really pretty. So there's this other thing there though called the Wave. So Vermilion Cliffs is a national monument. So you can go and get permits on there. That's how far it is. This one though, there was a $10,000 fine. And I was like, yeah, that's too rich for my blood. I'm not going to try to go in there because there were so many other pretty things. And I had gone to Lower Antelope Canyon. And so I guess it's a really beautiful hike if you ever get a chance. It's a lottery thing though, but I think you can get on it on May for like July. And people try for years and years and years. And then I've read that when they do get it and they go on the hike, that it is worth it trying for years to get on it. So I wish I had known. Again, I was like a turtle. I just went wherever and stopped. But sometimes it's better to put some time in. And so then, of course, I went by Glen Canyon. Down on the bottom right was my camp spot. I actually got a camp. That was my Overlander spot that I decided to sleep. I had a camping spot in an actual campground, and people were having boom boxes and playing their music. It's like, yeah, to hell with this. So I just drove off and pulled over next to the river. But and that's where the condors are. I took a picture from the Navajo Bridge, and there were. I took pictures of the condor, but they were behind like pillars. But aren't they amazing? They're huge. They're giant, and so I was hoping to see one of them. Of course, I had to stop by Horseshoe Falls because you're right there. Monument Valley. Oh yeah. So I'm dallying, but had to go to Monument Valley, right? Because, Forrest Gump and everything. So I pull up, and that's on Indian land as well. And it's only like $8. And then I guess it's a 22-mile loop that you drive. So I pull up to the gate. I'm 15 minutes too late. She says, I'm there at 2:15. So apparently you have to go early because people dally and, they don't want to let them be in there at dark. So of course I was like, hey, here's $20, here's the next, try what I could. And she said, no, I just can't let you. So then I was angry at myself, went up to the cafe, had like a sandwich or something, and I'm muttering to myself. And some guy overhears me. He goes, yeah, well, if you think this is cool, you should see Gods of the Valley or something. I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, it's way better than this. So he goes, what kind of car do you have? Oh, done. Okay. So anyway, I tell him I have a Subaru with all-wheel drive, and I go there, and it's Bears Ears. So I got to sleep in there for 2 nights, and it was amazing, and it was free. Super amazing. Bears Ears National Monument, which is going to be open to mining. Then I went by Mesa Verde. That was closed. You couldn't hike down there, but that's okay because okay, I'm almost done. So Ouray, Colorado. It's called the Switzerland of the West. It's a beautiful town that there's hot springs and great hiking around it. So I did stay at a little inn there for a couple nights. That's in Colorado. Yeah, Colorado. All right, then someone said, you can't miss Colorado National Monument. This was the scariest drive I've ever taken in my life. I drove If you drive east to west, you're on the outside. There are no guardrails. And because there were no, so the gates were open, and usually they don't let campers in, not even camper vans, because the road is so narrow and it has hairpin turns. And so if a camper is going around, literally you would be bounced off this, and it was just sheer cliffs. And I stopped, I did talk to somebody they did have these, little shops open sometimes. So I talked to a ranger in there, and I said, how often does this happen? He's like, Google it. It happens. It happens. I mean, it was the scariest thing. It was so scary. And I was driving west and the sun was coming down. But it was really beautiful in there, I gotta say. It was, it was gorgeous. I would you drive west to east. Go in the west entrance and drive east. And then you can go out. It's worth it. It's beautiful, but the other way, I would never do it again. I would never. And then I ended up, Boulder, Chautauqua. It's a great place. Didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I texted you. Yeah. So I texted Tim, and he's like, yeah, they have a good restaurant. And they did.
Is that a Boy Scout area?
It's some kind of,
They used to have a camp there for adults. They call them Chautauquas.
yeah.
And it was like a kind of a spa-ish kind of thing.
But for regular people,
Yeah.
not fancy spa.
Right.
And I've been there several times. It's a great hiking place. It's just really nice. So that was and then what happened was it was getting snowy, and they were going to close I think it's I-70 that goes through Vail and all that, and they were going to close it because it was snowing so much. So I'm either going to stay on this side of the Rockies or get back home. So I had to go home then. And that was 8,400 miles. Yeah, thanks.